Commander Harold Auten VC, DSC. Rode was a Royal Naval Reserve officer who was awarded the Victoria Cross, the highest award for gallantry in the face of the enemy that can be awarded to British and Commonwealth forces. He received his medal for an action during the English Channel Campaign of the First World War. A former pupil of Wilson School, Wallington, London, Auten had joined the RNR before the outbreak of the First World War, during which he served in Q ships. He was promoted to lieutenant in 1917 and was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, for services in vessels of the Royal Navy employed on patrol and escort duty in that year. Citation: he was awarded the Victoria Cross in 1918 following an action when he was commanding a Q ship, HMS Stockforce, under the command of Lieutenant Harold Auten, DSC, RNR, was torpedoed by an enemy submarine at 5 p.m. on 30 July 1918. The torpedo struck the ship abreast No. 1 hatch, entirely wrecking the fore part of the ship, including the bridge, and wounding 3 ratings. A tremendous shower of planks, unexploded shells, hatches and other debris followed the explosion, wounding the first lieutenant and the navigating officer and adding to the injuries of the foremost gun's crew and a number of other ratings. The ship settled down forward, flooding the foremost magazine and between decks to the depth of about 3 feet. Panic party, in charge of Lieutenant Workman, RNR, immediately abandoned ship, and the wounded were removed to the lower deck, where the surgeon, working up to his waist in water, attended to their injuries. The captain, 2 guns' crews and the engine room staff remained at their posts. The submarine then came to the surface ahead of the ship half a mile distant, and remained there a quarter of an hour, apparently watching the ship for any doubtful movement. The panic party in the boat accordingly commenced to row back towards the ship in an endeavor to decoy the submarine within range of the hidden guns. The submarine followed, coming slowly down the port side of the Stockforce, about 300 yards away. Lieutenant Auten, however, withheld his fire until she was abeam, when both of his guns could bear. Fire was opened at 5:40 p.m. The first shot carried away one of the periscopes, the second round hit the conning tower, blowing it away and throwing the occupant high into the air. The next round struck the submarine on the waterline, tearing her open and blowing out a number of the crew. The enemy then subsided several feet into the water and her bows rose. She thus presented a large and immobile target into which the Stockforce poured shell after shell until the submarine sank by the stern, leaving a quantity of debris on the water. During the whole of the action, 1 man remained pinned down under the foremost gun after the explosion of the torpedo, and remained there cheerfully and without complaint, although the ship was apparently sinking, until the end of the action. The Stockforce was a vessel of 360 tons, and despite the severity of the shock sustained by the officers and men when she was torpedoed, and the fact that her bows were almost obliterated, she was kept afloat by the exertions of her ship's company until 9:25 p.m. She then sank with colors flying, and the officers and men were taken off by 2 torpedo boats and a trawler. The action was cited as one of the finest examples of coolness, discipline and good organization in the history of Q ships. Auten's Victoria Cross is on display at the Royal Naval Museum in Portsmouth, England. Later work: Harold Auten wrote Q Boat Adventures, the first book on Q ships, in 1919. After the war he became an executive vice president of the Rank Organization in New York and lived for 30 years in Bushkill, Pennsylvania, where he owned a hotel and cinema. However, he remained a member of the RNR, and in 1941 he was awarded the Royal Naval Reserve Officer's Decoration. During World War II, he held the rank of commander in the RNR and served as senior staff organizing transatlantic convoys. He was made an officer of the United States Legion of Merit, for distinguished service to the Allied cause throughout the war, and a commander of the Order of Orange-Nassau, for service to the Royal Netherlands Navy during the war. He was a younger brother of Trinity House.